Luke chapter 16, 19 to 31. Jesus said, there was a rich man who dressed in purple garments and fine linen and dined sumptuously each day. The Lucan Jesus tells us this greedy man dressed in purple garments. Purple dye was the most expensive dye in the Roman world. It was very difficult to facsimilate blue. And therefore, you know what blue and red make? Purple. That's why purple is the color of royalty in the ancient world. In fact, the traditional Roman society, purple, by the way, is a great defense against the evil eye. And if you're rich, you're going to have a lot of people giving you envy, right? The evil eye. In traditional Roman society, purple only could be worn by those with senatorial rank. Roman senators wore purple fringe on their togas. And to be a Roman senator, you had to have at least 1 million silver denarii in liquid assets. Only very few people got to wear...
Before or after?
Before or after what? I'm sorry.
To be a senator?
To be a senator. To even be a senator before. Before. Yeah. But that's okay. They were really representing the people.
I'm sorry.
A lot like no.
Oh, before, okay. All right. No, it's fine. It's all right, it's good.
The Senate Ethics Committee.
Yeah, before, oh, you mean today, yeah. Well, that's a whole nother thing. Yeah, you're right. You're not kidding. They would make those people blush. If this man is dressed in purple garments, the Lucan Jesus is using hyperbole. I mean, he's establishing the strongest possible contrast that could be drawn in the ancient Mediterranean world. The Lucan Jesus also adds the detail that he was dressed in fine linen as well. Linen was exclusively an extremely expensive Egyptian export that came into Israel and everywhere else in the Mediterranean world. In Jesus' day, the fashion among the elite had been to make their underwear out of linen. So this guy is greedy and wealthy to the obscene degree. He wears purple togas and linen underwear. The Lucan Jesus adds that the greedy man feasted sumptuously each day. Okay, look, this is really extreme hyperbole. Nobody did that. Not even the emperor did that in antiquity. Okay, not really. But what the Lucan Jesus, that's something Americans do. But what the Lucan Jesus is attempting here is to describe the real obscenity, the obscenely greedy, wealthy, high, ridiculously high, big shot social type this guy is. And lying at his door was a poor man named Lazarus, covered with sores, who would gladly have eaten his fill of all the scraps that fell from the rich man's table. Door should probably be better translated as gate, outside gate of the house. It's not like the door to his kitchen where he's sitting at his table eating. If you were to look at the archaeological excavations of the largest estate houses in first century Israel, here's a floor plan, including those within the cities, you'd see a walled compound about the size of your average parish church.
Wow.
Ooh, thank goodness.
The walls are high with iron gates. These walled compounds provide the rich a measure of security so that poor folk wouldn't steal all their stuff. In fact, the Hebrew word for a thief literally means wall breaker. Okay. The picture the Lucan Jesus is giving shows that the greedy man has a big wall around his home. At the gate of this walled compound is a man covered with sores, that is, open wounds. Again, infectious disease is the #1 killer of people in antiquity. So this man is dying. The story does not tell us whether this is taking place in the city or if the setting is a country home. If that detail had been provided, that could make a difference, because if it took place in the city, beggars would not be allowed to remain within the city walls at nighttime. They were kicked out. For example, the gates of the city of Jerusalem would have been locked at sundown, and the streets would have been cleaned out before then, especially of merchants and beggars.
They were forced outside the city gates.
Right, which is a problem when we read John chapter 5 in the story of the paralytic at the pool of Bethesda. Yeah, he has no friends. Well, he better have friends to drag his self out
Right.
of the walls, because he ain't going to stay there. How the hell did he get back to the pool? I mean,
Didn't they bring him in and out daily?
who did? He had no friends to put him in the water. Man, you at least give me the water. I mean, drop me in the pool where the angel stirs up the water, you know? Can't even get him there. But we'll drop him, we'll take him all out of the city and take him over to the...
And drop him on the edge so he can salvage.
So I don't think John understands that detail too much, or maybe he's just relating that story to... His stories are highly symbolic, very symbolic. Very symbolic. But anyway... If you have a beggar that cannot walk, understand it doesn't make sense that they would be inside city walls. Especially one at the gate of a city estate of a wealthy man. Doesn't make sense. That would be begging outside the city gates. That's where the people are, in urban situation, that are beggars. So it seems that this is taking place in a country estate somewhere. Goes on, when the poor man died, he was carried away by the angels to the bosom of Abraham. The rich man also died and was buried, and from the netherworld, where he was in torment, he raised his eyes and saw Abraham far off and Lazarus at his side. Those of you who've been to classes recently on hell and heaven, you know what they're talking about here. The cosmic lake of fire thing underneath in the bowl, the bottomless pit of the sky vault, and the sky vault. You got a big constellation here, and that's where Abraham is honored, and that's where Lazarus is honored. And of course, on the bottom bowl is where this shameful man, the rich man, suffers.